I'm Pat Pottorff White. I was reared in the Cumberland Presbyterian Church in Burnt Prairie, Illinois. I graduated from Bethel College, served as secretary of the CPWM convention for 1 year, and then served on the committee to revise the Confession of Faith, which was adopted in 1984. The big controversial issue as we worked on the revision was inclusive God language, pronouns or no pronouns for God. The matter of homosexuality or same-sex relationships was never mentioned in our committee discussions. In fact, prior to the adoption of the confession, I never heard this issue mentioned in the Cumberland Presbyterian Church. So, that is why it was never addressed in the 1984 confession. Therefore, it is wrong to read into the Confession of Faith something against same-sex relationships that is not there. Just as the earth being round was a non-issue in Scripture, homosexuality was a non-issue as we revised the Confession of Faith. Because we did not have the understanding of the world and its people that we have today. Growing up in a conservative area of Illinois, I had limited exposure to the experiences of LGBT individuals, as many were forced to remain closeted. However, my perspective began to shift during my time as the manager of the Cumberland Presbyterian Resource Center, beginning in 1986. It was during those 14 years that I came across a book addressing homophobia, and upon reading it, I realized it was describing me due to my being naive regarding members of the LGBT community and my adherence to popular interpretations of certain Bible passages that had been proof-texted to condemn LGBT individuals. I began to recognize the importance of looking at these passages more closely and understanding the cultural background behind these passages, such as the recognition that the story of Sodom may be more accurately understood as violence towards vulnerable strangers rather than homosexuality itself. In addition, my youngest daughter had the opportunity to study under a gay youth minister who was also a seminary student. This compassionate individual provided crucial support to my daughter and her older siblings during their parents' divorce and the untimely death of their father. The presence and care shown by this gay youth minister allowed me to see Christ in this young man. In 2000, I became the editor of the Cumberland Presbyterian magazine. I intentionally did not broach the subject of ordained gays in leadership roles during the almost 10 years I held that position. Why? Because I was afraid this topic would split our small denomination. Words would be said that could not be taken back. People would be hurt. I wondered how the topic would impact folks from different cultures. Would we lose entire segments from our denomination? Would I lose friends? Today I firmly believe that I must speak out and that we have civil conversations so that there can be greater understanding, and we cannot ignore the harm that is being inflicted upon the LGBTQ plus community, both by the church and by the community. I continue to search for more understanding and for ways to support members of the LGBTQ plus community. A book that has enlightened me on history, anatomy, health, and science, along with same-sex behavior in the Bible, is titled Walking the Bridgeless Canyon, Repairing the Breach Between the Church and the LGBT Community. It was written by Kathy Baldock. Thanks to advancements in genetics and biology, we now understand that the spectrum of human sex is not limited to just male and female. God created male, female, and intersex individuals. While the majority falls into the categories of male and female, sex actually exists on a spectrum. We've identified at least 31 known intersex variations, which is as common as having red hair. There is no way to know the gender of an intersex baby at birth. However, allowing intersex children to manifest their natural, innate gender may be witnessed by age 2 and almost universally by age 6. In addition, scientific experts have unanimously concluded the following points backed by thorough research and analysis. Number 1, same-gender sexual orientation is a normal and natural part of the diverse spectrum of human identities and cannot be considered a disorder. Number 2, interventions targeting changing gender identity or sexual orientation are not only ineffective, but also lack scientific basis. Our confession of faith invites us to embrace each person and all groups of people in the life of the church. As more and more people are bravely coming out, we have an opportunity to embrace and befriend our LGBTQ plus community members, instead of weaponizing the confession of faith against them or rushing to impose new rules to exclude them from serving the church. Let us embrace the opportunity to witness the work of God within them, right here in our own denomination. Every individual is created in the image of God. This includes our LGBTQ plus siblings. We don't need to change them, for it's how God created them. Let us see Christ in all of God's children and embrace them as our siblings.